Hey there everyone, and welcome back to the channel. As always, my name is Daki, and I'd like to thank everyone for coming and clicking on this video, for visiting my channel. You know the deal, but thank you so much. So today we're in a slightly different game than normal. We are in Satisfactory. So, I'd like to welcome everyone to Satisfactory. Obviously, Satisfactory is a game very much along the lines of Minecraft, Factorio, all those other sort of games that requires you to build and, you know, bring about your base, make it better. So, today I'm going to give you guys a tour of what we have created. Now, for all of you who watch my stream, you guys will have seen all of this. You guys are the ones that have come along and watched the building grow, obviously, watched all of this happen. But today, for all of you guys on YouTube, and for record's sake, let's give you guys a tour before we start building too much more. Now, bit of a disclaimer. First of all, I know that this is not optimized. For those who do play Satisfactory and are most likely watching this video and are going, well, hang on a minute, you could have done this, I understand. This is relatively my first base that I've created in this scale. This is not the first base I've built, but this is the first base in this largeness, you could say. But anyway, enough of all that. Let's get into it. Let me show you around. So first and foremost, as everyone that has played Satisfactory knows, this is your hab or hub. I call it the hab. It is actually a hub. Long story short is this is your main sort of little living quarter area. This is your main sort of research area, which, you know, up to tier 4, getting there. Just outside the hub, we have obviously the equipment workshop where we can build all of our goodies. We have a MAM, which is a research facility. We have the awesome shop, which is where you buy all sorts of things for the base. And of course, over here, we've got some crafting benches. Let's turn our light on as the sun is going down. So what are we all looking at here? What is this complexity of things? Well, let me walk you through it. This little thing over here is just producing some smart plating for us. Don't mind this. It just, you know, it's just doing its thing. I'll explain this a little bit later on. But for those who are new to Satisfactory and don't know what's going on, essentially, the basics of Satisfactory. Let's head over this way and I'll show you. So as we're walking past our base, and well, you can see in the distance there our power plant, which I will talk to you guys about in a little bit, but for the moment, what we are going to discuss is these things here. So these are your conveyor belts which link to mining miners over in the distance. You can see one way over there. We run a conveyor belt. Conveyor belt goes to a essentially either a smeltery or a furnace. It then goes through constructors and assemblers. But let me explain to you what my base is all about. So as you can see, we have a lot, and I mean a lot of conveyor belts. Let me get up on top of this and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We are currently running two different sides of the base. So two different sides of the base essentially have 2 iron nodes coming in. We have 2 copper nodes coming in. We have 2 limestone nodes coming in. They're getting buffered through these storage chests or crates, as you want to call them, and then they are filtering through and into the said factory itself. Now, not only do I have 6 on one side, or 8 on this side because I've got 2 extra spare ones, but we also have 6 on the other side as well, and that's feeding into the right side of the base. So essentially, from up here in our vantage point, we can see we've got our little mini assembly going on right here. We have our hub with all of our goodies. We have our, you know, our little constructing area here. This is just a temporary base workshop area. We have 6 inputs on the right side of the base. We have technically 6 inputs on the left side of the base, with these 2 straggly little ones that we'll explain why they're going to the top floor in a second. So let's jump down off of this and let's go have a look. Oh, I took a little bit of damage there. And let's have a look inside the base. So first floor, as you can see, 2 lines coming in from the right side, 2 lines coming in from the left side. And these come into what is known as the iron level. Now, this is not all upgraded, guys. Let me just explain to you. These are still level 1 belts. These are not enhanced machines. We're still in the infancy as far as the factory stage go. Okay, so let me explain to you what's going on. So we have obviously 4 belts coming in. 4 belts are going to go into 4 smelteries. These smelteries are then going to split into 2 constructors each, which then break it down even further into a couple more constructors, and then obviously come into a couple of assemblers. So let me explain to you what is going on from right to left, because this will make a little bit more sense to everybody. So let's go over here to the basic one. So iron deposit comes in, goes into your first smeltery here. which is obviously smelting iron ore into iron ingots, as you can see there. Iron ingots get split up and go into constructors. Constructors are making them into plates. Plates are going through a small buffer system, which really isn't needed, but they're going to then get sent off into storage, which are these storage crates down here, as we can see right here. So we have 2 lines of iron plates going on, which is super awesome. Then we have the next one across is obviously your iron pipe, or rods as people call them, but essentially iron rods are getting produced into the next conveyor line. The next one over from that is screws. Screws are super important and necessary in almost all construction, especially in iron and advanced modular framing. So screws are there. The next ones, what are these two? Well, what we've done is pretty much the same, and then what we've done is we've broken it down into assemblers, and assemblers are turning iron plates and screws into reinforced plating. Now, reinforced plating is also another thing for slightly advanced construction, so we definitely need these. So to recap, on the bottom floor, we've got 2 lines of iron plating, 1 line of iron rods, 1 row of screws, and then 2 rows of iron plating, which this one's not filled up yet. Okay, that is the iron level. As you can see, nice glass work around the side. Now it is nighttime, so we can't see the effects of the sun, but when the sun does come up, we'll show you a sunrise. We have the window conveyor lines, which are super freaking awesome. Makes everything look nice and tidy. And now I'm going to turn the light off. I hope you guys can still see. This just looks beautiful at night. This just looks beautiful. Look at that. Oh, anyway, so staircase or ramp goes up to the 2nd level. Now the 2nd level, obviously same sort of deal. Let's just head over and show you the input side. So we've got the foyer area where we've got 2 lines on the right, 2 lines on the left. These are copper nodes. So the copper nodes are obviously the next rows up, and they're coming straight in. Pretty much the same, exact same copy deal here, guys. 4 lines come into 4 smelteries, 4 smelteries go into 4. 2. Each smeltery breaks down into 2 extra constructors, and then the constructors break it down even further into what we see here. So what do we got going from right to left again? We have 3 rows of the cable wire. Sorry, my apologies. 3 rows of the wire. 3 rows. I got 3 rows of these. 3 rows of the copper rolls or sheeting. We absolutely need these as well. And then 2 rolls of the cable. These are the cables. So cables, super important. Wire is super important. This is all backed up because this has been running for some time. So we don't need all of this just yet. But yeah, that's the copper row. So let's go up another level. Obviously, we'll go up to the front here and up our nice beautiful staircase area. Look at, oh, that is just, it's just super beautiful, guys. This game lends it so well to it's satisfying. It is exactly satisfying. Again, this row is the limestone row. Obviously limestone, 2 rows right, 2 rows left, exactly the same as needed. These are the 2 top rows over here, 2 top rows over here, all coming up into the building itself. And as you would expect, exactly the same setup. However, with limestone, we do not need the smeltery, so we can cut out a row of smelteries. Instead, the limestone goes straight into the constructors. And what does the constructors build, you say? The constructors build concrete. Look at all of this concrete. Beautiful. This row's still getting filled up. But concrete is essential for base building. All of these are filled to the brim with concrete. Absolutely love it. So concrete's great. Gonna need a lot of concrete, especially moving forward. Now I'll explain why as we move on. So that's the 3rd level. So what do you say is on the 4th level? Well, that's where these 2 rows come in. The sun's starting to come up. You guys will get a nice, beautiful view of the base when the sun comes up. These 2 rows are 2 extra rows that we brought in. Now these go to the top floor, and this is the top floor with sunroof, moonroof, sunroof. Let's turn that off and have a look. It looks absolutely beautiful. These come up and in here, and they wrap around a little tiny bit different on the foyer area where because this was just tacked on the top essentially. Now this again is iron. Now this was essentially set up for advanced production for the factory. So they come into smelteries, smelteries go into constructors, constructors break them down even further, then they go into a whole lot of assemblers. Now, why so much complexity on the top level? Well, this is advanced production, and the advanced production is to make modular frames by 2, and of course rotors by 2. So I've got 2 lines of rotors, 2 lines of modular frames. That's why it requires so much, and it is slow. It is slow because of my setup. It is not optimized, but hey, it is what it is. I like it. Once all this gets upgraded, once all the belts get upgraded, and once I throw some slug buggy grubs in these, they'll go faster. I'll explain that later. But essentially, top row is for advanced production, and that's the base, essentially. That is the main base. There's Wrath. Everyone say hello to Wrath. Wrath is just floating mid-air. I don't know why Wrath is floating mid-air, but he's floating mid-air. So essentially, this is my base. So 4 levels. Bottom level's iron, second level's copper, third level's limestone, fourth level is advanced productions. Now, this is the first base that I've built in this scale. I've had a couple of other successes and I've deleted those games. So it's not optimized, but I like doing it. So we're going to exit the base here. The sun's coming up, which we will show you the next little bit. We'll just jump down here. So, we've seen the essential startup area. We've seen the little tack-on little thing that's just doing its thing. We've seen the base in all its glory. Now, I'm going with a white and blue color scheme here. As you guys can see, you can change the white and blue the scheme, sorry. You can change them all in the color gun. You just right-click, choose your colors, do what you need to do. So, I've gone with a white and blue color scheme for that. Let's just unequip that for the moment. Okay, let's move on. The next thing that I want to show you guys, as you can see, that's a miner over there. There are all the lines coming in. This is just pretty. This is just pretty. I like this. All links up. We got the elevators that go up to each level. All right, so do we have fuel in the truck? We have fuel in the truck. Let's go for a spin. All right, so we'll explain this thing over here in a second. But what I do want to show you guys is I want to show you guys the power plant. Wow, this truck is loud, guys. There we go. Okay, so what is on our right here? Essentially, oh yeah, don't mind the floating wire. We're fixing that. We're fixing that. We're mid-production right now, guys. We're halfway through changing some things around. So we have what is called an awesome sink. Now, an awesome sink essentially chews up anything you don't want, gives you coupons, and you can use it at the awesome shop, which we showed you guys down at the main base. So essentially, awesome sink chews all that up. Now, this little thing over here is doing basic steel work for me. So to give you an overview, I'm just getting into steel production, but to get into steel production, we need to go make another base. So I've got a mini steel production going on while we get into that. Okay, so what's out here? You guys can see some things in the distance here. Let's go have a look. And you can see this thing above our head. We'll explain that in a short second. So let's go all the way down here and I'll explain the power plant. This is the heart of the beast, essentially. This is what runs my whole factory. And it's a little bit overkill, but we do need the power. So we are currently working on the hypertubes running to the power plant at the moment. But if we just head around here, we will see what we got going on. Alright, we're just going to park our truck there. Wow, yeah, you guys can see what's going on here. And it's going to get noisy back here, guys. I do apologize. But let me explain what's going on over here. We got 3 lines of coal coming in. Now, these should be conveyor 2s. Yep, they're conveyor 2s. As you can see, 3 lines of coal coming in from 3 nodes way over in the distance. And when we travel up here, let the conveyor belt just take us up. Bam, there you go. This is beautiful, guys. If anyone has some OCD and you want to play Satisfactory, I highly recommend playing it. You can get away with a lot of things. So what is going on? For those who do not know what Satisfactory is. Okay, we have coal generators. Now, coal generators need water and coal. There are our water pumps over here. Our water pumps are essentially feeding the coal generators. They're going to run up here. Each water pump is feeding 4 coal generators at the moment. They're overclocked by 1. But yeah, you can see we are running 1800 megawatt hours with all of our coal generators, but we're only utilizing just into the 600 megawatt hour point. So each coal line, guys, is running 8 coal generators. So to do the math here, we've got a lot of coal generators. So let's just go down the end here and see. So as you can see, get up on the pipe. So we got 1 line feeding 8, We've got the second line feeding another 8. We've got the third line feeding another 8. And yeah, that's our power, essentially. That is our power. Pretty good. We're still working on upgrading. We're still working on this, and it takes a lot of time. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back to the truck. We don't need to know anything else over here. What is this glass cabinet? What is it for? It's a work in progress. This is what we're working on stream. Guys, also, small little plug here. If you guys want to catch up with me on stream, the links are in the description, obviously down below. If you want to see me build this base in real time and continue to upgrade it, obviously, that is the best place to watch it, and I will keep you guys updated on YouTube. What do I got here? These are the Hypertubes. Hypertubes speed up transportation between one base and another, but what I've got set up here is what is called as a Hypertube Cannon. It's a very mini version of a Hypertube Cannon, but let me explain. Essentially, this here is an entrance to a Hypertube. This over here is a Hypertube support. Hypertube support, Hypertube entrance. Support, entrance. Cannot go in the support end, but you can go in the entrance end. Pretty self-explanatory, right? But Daki, why do you have 5 lined up side by side? Here's why. Satisfactory lends itself to momentum. So if I was just to hop in one and have the Hypertube connected all the way down here, I would get the base level of speed in the Hypertube. However, if I enter one entrance, exit, just even for a small break, and enter another entrance, I carry momentum. So if I'm moving at, say, 10 meters a second, this is all rudimentary numbers, I haven't looked up the numbers, but if I say I'm moving at 10 meters a second out of the first one, and I enter the second one at 10 meters a second, your speed is increased. So let's say I exit the second one, I'm then exiting at 20 meters a second, I enter the third one at 20 meters a second, I exit at 30 meters, you get the point. It adds up, and it looks something a bit like this. Speed. A lot faster than what it would be just on its own. So I can't go all the way back, so I'll just run. But anyway, I created a glass case, but this is all going to get dismantled and rebuilt into something a little bit sleeker, a little bit better looking, but essentially hypertubing. Great for transportation. That's what this is all about. So let's jump back in the truck, say, and I will show you the last piece of the puzzle for the base, which is something I'm quite proud of, and this is what we're working on stream. So if you guys do want to catch me on stream, again, link is in the description. Make sure you catch me on that. Okay, so what is this big glass building over here? What is the go? Let's go have a look. Let's go have a look. So you end up sort of coming away from the base a little bit. You head up this stairway here, go up to a little bit of a staircase, and then you come out looking at this. This is just a nice little lookout area. This little bit's a nice little lookout area. You can look over the base. You can look over the power plant over there. But essentially, this building, this small building, is essentially a transportation hub. This is essentially an airport or a train station as such. So as you can see on this side, I've got hypertubing that's going to go towards obviously, the power plant way in the distance. These power poles are just temporary. I just had to, get everything connected. But essentially, that's going to go to the power plant. This sort of entrance incoming way is probably going to go to some other place. Then on this side, we have this one here, which you're thinking, hang on a minute, there's a big old bloody platform out there. This is going to go off to the steel production. Now, what we're going to have to do in future episodes is go over this mountain ridge here and find another spot for another base for steel production, because essentially I can't just keep adding levels on top of my base. I mean, I can, but it's just gonna get too much. So we're gonna make another base for steel production. And of course, the fourth exit way is probably going to go over this way, which is westward. There is a lot of stuff over this way that I need to explore as well. So this one's going to go over that way, that one's going to go that way, that one's going to go that way. You get the idea. This is essentially it's a transportation hub. It's essentially an airport. But for the moment, I like this design. It works. But we're in the process of upgrading things, and it takes some time. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for coming and watching this video. I very much appreciate it. remember guys, if you do want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, I do have a Discord, I do have a Patreon, I do have a Twitch channel, and of course I have this YouTube channel, and you can find all the links to that in the description down below as normal. But anyway guys, I'm going to sign off for now because we have got a lot of other things to do, but I wanted to give you guys a tour of the Satisfactory base before we start doing any more. Again, we are going to be doing some live streaming Satisfactory over the weekend and in coming days, so if you guys want to catch up with that, make sure you tune in. Anyway guys, have a good day and thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.